Another edition of Riding Home, a week after G Day here at Dean Leggy Matt DeBerry. There's a couple of things to discuss here, Matt. First of all, well, two things. Do you want to start with the uniforms or the Oregon game?
Let's start with the uniforms. Let's
Okay.
go for it. Yeah.
All right. So Georgia's going to have a slightly different uniform in 2022, it appears. The athletic department putting out on Thursday that they're going to start using block numbers again. Which is curious to me because the numbers and font that have been used, so they're kind of curvy,
Yeah.
the current ones. But you won a national championship and then you changed the font. I mean, I don't know, but it will go back to the old Georgia uniforms. Maybe they're just doing it for a little bit, game here or there. I don't know, but you know, comments.
Big fan. Big fan. I've said for a while, I
Oh,
don't like
okay.
the cartoony kind of ovally, jersey
Cartoony.
numbers that they're wearing right now. Yeah, I like the block. I like the 2002, 2003, 2004 look of the jerseys. I think it's more of a classic look. The more they changed it to this more modern kind of number font, I didn't like it. So this is good news for me because I mean I've been saying this for a while. I didn't like the way they were trending with the uniforms and the fonts of the numbers. So I like going back to the block. I'm assuming Nike's got some crazy thing to go with it. I'm sure it's going to look great, but I like the fonts of the block numbers more than what they've been using recently.
Well, you can't take Nike's money
Right.
and not expect there to be some discussion about what you're going to wear. But it's I don't know, man. I kind of the numbers have grown on me over time. Of course, Georgia. I'm very much a uniform nerd, and right now I'm looking for some images that I can use that show what Georgia's looked like in the past. But because we do this on the fly sometimes. But uh, what is it? What photo shelter, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry about that. You know, back in the day, so Nike's changed the jersey feel more than a couple of times. I mean, they used to have very thin circles that you could breathe through. If you can see, can't really see it very well. Maybe you can, like Keeley right there. You see, Matt, how you can see
Yeah.
the shoulder pads through the jersey. So obviously there's plenty of ventilation there. But what I was gonna say was, the other ones were kind of dull though, man. I mean, like these were Georgia's font. They're the only ones that could use it or whatever. It was their font completely. And I don't know. I'm not as pumped up about it as perhaps you are or were.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't like everything kind of new is something that maybe I like
It's
the
not.
logo right now, the new kind of bulldog looking thing. I don't think it's great. I like the old school one with the bulldog on the hat. I just think I'm more of
Oh,
an old school guy and I like the jerseys and the uniforms in the early 2000s compared to now where I don't know, they fit the players a little better now. I don't know what it is to me. I just think they're more visually appealing, the way they used to look, and I guess the way they are about to look again.
so right now I have a picture. Matt can't see it. I have a picture. This turned out. Look, at the moment I took this image, I thought it was not a great image. Okay, Matt, I'll show it to you on the screen if I
All
can.
right,
But
I'm excited to see this. Yeah,
people were like really,
yeah.
really like jacked up about that shot after the game. And the long story about this one is my hard drive fell out. My computer fell out of my trunk after the blackout, so I lost all images
Oh
but
my god.
three. I lost every image but this image, a picture of Mark Richt, which is really a great picture, and a picture of the entire stadium. But you can see this what they're going back to is very similar to what like Alabama has right now, and that to me, and of course this was a Georgia idea. This was a Mark Richt. I should tell the story of the black jerseys one of these days, anecdotally, because Mark Richt and I had a conversation about this before he did it. And
Wow.
anyway,
Insider scoop right there for
well,
sure.
but the problem was he told me they weren't going to do it. That he always wanted Georgia to look like Georgia. But I don't know, like, kind of where this is coming from because those black jersey, those numbers, that was not a great time all the time, Matt, for the Dogs. It was a decent run. Um, do you care when the Braves mess with their jerseys? Because the Falcons mess with theirs constantly. It feels like,
I
but
like the old school Falcons ones
the
for sure when they bring just the black and white and the old school logo on the helmet. I love those. And
those
when
do look
the
good.
Braves have a lot of different alternative jerseys. I like the
Right.
baby blue that they have going on. I like the old school logo there. And the same with Georgia. The more they tried to change things and modernize it, the more I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Go back to where you know I say what was working, but what was working for me is because I enjoyed it.
Well, it doesn't really matter, right? I
Right.
mean, you're well, I think it matters to the degree that if you change the G logo that's on the side of the helmet, we see this with schools that are not successful a lot, South Carolina, etc. There are what the South Carolina thing or the
A little bit. You say unsuccessful, then the first one you throw out is South Carolina. It's classic Dean, but
well,
I get
but
what you're
yeah,
saying,
I
though.
wouldn't say that about Clemson or the guy, but the
Right.
Florida has one of the worst helmets out there, and to me. And it's not great, but it is classic. And um, I have always when we were in college we would talk about jerseys a lot, and people say, "Oh, I love Alabama's jersey or Penn State's." It's terrible. They do not have good jerseys. They have very bland, boring jerseys. And the other thing about Alabama specifically is, every single player has their own helmet.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
what
What do you
is the
think about?
Alabama helmet?
Yeah. What do you think about the black jerseys, black helmet pants? Do you like it when they switch that up a little bit? I think the black jerseys look fresh. I think they look
They
really
do.
cool. I kind of wish they would do it even once a year. I think with against Kent State or Charleston Southern, whoever. I think the black jerseys is a cool touch.
I mean, I could talk for an hour about jerseys. I know people don't want to do that, but when I do think the black jersey, first of all, I would never do anything ever, 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 never, never, never mess with the silver breeches ever.
Right.
I would never, never, never mess with the helmets. They have to have white face masks.
Mhm.
Jim Donnan brought this black stripe. This is the Kirby era helmet. That should have
Yeah.
never happened. That
Yeah.
was a mistake. And you don't like this guy, right? This
Not
bothers
not
you.
not not a fan of that one. No.
Okay. Um,
No.
but I mean, this is your sort of
I
classic,
like that. Yeah.
yeah, classic block G Georgia. Um, I don't know, Matt. I mean, I think to me, this is August 6th. That's 4 August ago. Anyway, I like the black tops, but I think honestly, I think Clemson's best jersey is all white with orange. Like they should wear that at home.
No
Uh,
purple, huh?
I don't mind the purple,
Okay.
but you can't like purple is an accent color if it's not their real color. I mean, it's not in their school. But if I were Georgia, I would do white tops with silver breeches and red. It is a striking uniform. I mean, they won the national championship in it just
Yeah.
now. If you want to see what it looks like on the screen, you see two of Georgia's jerseys. Obviously, the red. I don't think I need to explain to people what they look like. It is one of the best uniforms in college football. The Kentucky people get real pissy about the checkerboard. By the way, I just found out about that. I
Wow.
like I like the black. Georgia has beautiful colors. They're very fortunate. Kentucky does too. Blue and white is great. When you get into some of the more trickier colors, orange and blue, orange and white, those are tough to make work. But for me, going back to the block, Matt, at some stage they're going to go back to this font, this Georgia Bulldogs font that they've
Yeah.
used now for 9 years.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they come out with against Oregon, a team that has a different jersey combination, pant combination in every game. So it'd be cool if Oregon maybe did all white and Georgia maybe to start the season,
Black.
reigning national championships with the black or something. I think would be pretty cool. But I think the colors should match pretty well on the field between the two.
I do wish that Georgia and the Gators had stuck with uh, red tops and blue tops. USC and UCLA do that, and they do that for a reason. They are selling Southern California, and the color pops in a way that you just couldn't believe. Florida has really tricky colors. It just doesn't look great. When South Carolina and Clemson play, those are horrible four colors. I could say the same thing about the Gators and Seminoles, but sorry, that was legitimately a slip right there, going back to the '90s.
That was awesome.
I did not mean to do that, but we don't edit around here. Virginia Tech and Virginia, they just have tough. Georgia and Georgia Tech, when they get together, they have some of the best looking fall colors that you could possibly see. Here's Georgia now with Warren Erickson showing off. Matt, I mean, it just looks like Ben Jones. This is the old school Georgia outfit.
Yeah,
that's it, right?
We see lists all the time in the offseason who, which program, which school has the best jersey combination, best helmet, and Georgia's always towards the top up there. The G is iconic, the red and the black, and with the white, it's all iconic. So it's hard to really screw it up, but I'm glad they are kind of going back to this kind of new model.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, obviously they're not ditching the old font. You can see the
Right.
font. It looks like they're just ditching the block number, or ditching the. I don't need everybody to see my text messages, but the top the block is going in place of the Georgia font. Here's the white. Here's Nolan. Oh, they're going to show you in black as well. How about this?
I like it.
Here's your. Well, I'm sorry, Matt. You can't see it. Let me do a little bit better job here. There's Nolan, which this looks just like the current jersey. That's whatever. But I don't know why I like this jersey the best, Matt. But
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
that looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have only changed the font of the letter. That's it. They've gone
Nice.
away
Yeah.
from the old font. Um, but they do have black, and there's Kyrus Jackson in the black. We'll see if we actually see it this season.
Yeah.
Skeptical, but they have beautiful colors to work with. At Tucker, we had challenging colors. We had maroon and gold, just like Florida State.
Yeah.
If you're Oregon, it's tough out there.
Yeah. There's a lot of combinations, and that's what makes Oregon Oregon. That's what makes them different from everyone else. That's why recruits love going out there and checking it out. It's just different, and they do that very, very well.
They
Whereas
do.
a lot of schools, definitely in the South and a little up there, Michigan and Penn State, it's traditional, right? And the more you mess with it, the more it's never going to be great. I just wish it was like this. Georgia could wear that till the end of time, and I think it would look great.
But Georgia, Auburn has never messed with their jerseys, really. Alabama has not messed with them a lot. They have. It's a misnomer that people think that Alabama is always. I mean, the over the top love of these boring uniforms is.
Not great. Well, Tennessee tries. They had the black. They wore black jerseys not too long ago. Very Halloweeny.
Wasn't that the Georgia game this past time?
I think they did. They wore them against Georgia, and they've worn them before too. I think they wore them a night game against South Carolina, a few
yeah.
years back. So
they've also done the smoky jerseys. There was
Yeah.
a year in 2015, Georgia wore red tops. They had 12 games. They wore red tops 9 times. And of course, Georgia Tech has their traditional white tops with whatever bottoms. But they go away from that when they play the Dogs because Jeff's Collins' feelings get hurt. Okay, Georgia is going to be is being listed right now, Matt. You could bet this game. They are a 15-point favorite over the Ducks and their multiple uniforms to start this season. So, your initial thoughts on that as we talk about this on Sunday night?
Well, I think I would probably take Georgia to cover. Oregon, they've got some talent, just not a ton.
Right.
They might have a couple guys who could play or start at Georgia, especially Justin Flo, Noah Sewell, guys on defense. But new quarterback, new head coach. I know those guys know what they're doing. They have an experienced quarterback with Bo Nix, who
They
started
do.
multiple years at Auburn. Dan Lanning, one of the best assistant coaches in college football, now getting his turn playing in Mercedes Benz in Georgia. It's going to be full of Georgia fans.
It's a
I
real
just think
tough challenge.
it's going to be really tough for them. And I think maybe they can hang around, make it look good for about a half, but I don't. I just see Georgia pulling away from them, especially if the offensive line is as good as I think it's going to be. And they establish that running game. I do think they could probably run away with the game in the second half. But I would take Georgia plus 15. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's 15
Minus
right
15.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 15 right now. I think it could be a little low. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And look, you know, the last home game Georgia lost, Matt, was South Carolina in 2019. That's the only home game they've lost in 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Right? I mean, am I missing a game that they lost at
I,
home?
no.
I mean, 17 they
No.
lost at
Yeah.
Auburn, right? And
18 at LSU.
yeah, 18 at LSU. 19 they lost at home to Carolina. That was their only regular season loss. 20 they didn't lose at home. Um,
I
and
think the
obviously
last
20.
one was Ole Miss. Oh, was that at home or that was on the road
No,
in
that was on
16?
the road.
So,
I mean, in
yeah,
16 they lost to Tennessee at home. They lost to
yeah,
Vanderbilt at home.
yeah,
And this is very quick math. I think they lost 3 games at home in that amount of time. People say, "Well, the Georgia Dome's not at home." I mean, okay, you're going to see when they play
yeah,
Oregon, that place is going to be jammed with Georgia people. I don't see any. I mean, they might have about 10,000 people there. Boise came to the Dome in 11 and was outnumbered in a way that was insane. LSU in 2000 later that year, same basic outnumbering. I mean, they might have had 5,000 more people. They may as well be playing this in Athens. I think it's a tougher
yeah,
environment for Oregon to play Georgia in. They might have a few fans, but it's in a dome, Matt. They're not going to have
yeah,
that thing open. And even if they do, it's so loud in there to begin with. I think this is an
yeah.
extremely difficult challenge. This is as tough a game as Oregon will play in 2022.
Well, I think playing a Mercedes Benz with the amount of fans they had for the Peach Bowl against Cincinnati really helped elevate them to
Yes.
start playing well towards the end and win that game. I mean, that was definitely a home atmosphere, home crowd for them
With
in the
20,000
Benz.
people.
Yeah, yeah. So it is going to feel like a home game as it does for a lot of road games that they play as well. So it's going to be really tough. And again, I think it's one of the toughest games on the regular, season schedule, and they're still favored by 15. So that says a lot about where this team is in the spring. And again, they've got 5 months to get better.
I'll tell you this. I was talking with an insider on Tuesday, and his view was that the Oregon game was kind of make it or break it for Georgia because he just didn't see. He said, "Well, you never know," but he just didn't see anybody else challenging them on that schedule. I mean, your comments on that? I still think you got to deal with Kentucky and Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, and State at the end.
Yeah, I don't see Auburn beating Georgia in Athens. I don't see Carolina tripping them up in Columbia. Again, a lot of people like Tennessee for good reason. They've got a lot of coming back, and it seems like their head coach knows what he's doing
He
compared to their
does.
last 5 head coaches. So, Tennessee, even in Athens, a lot of people think could be tricky. State on the road at the end of the season might give them a little bit of scare for the first half. Uh, Florida should not beat Georgia.
No.
First year head coach, everything they've got going on. You can just go back and look at the recruiting classes the last 3 years. They should not have anywhere near the talent or depth as Georgia has this season. And then Kentucky's always a hard fought game.
But they
So
play the same style as Georgia. I mean, I
yeah,
think that's the problem. Clemson when they played Alabama they played a different style than Alabama did at the time, and so Clemson could play their game. Kentucky doesn't have that. They play Georgia's
yeah,
game. I mean, they're a heavyweight going up against a
yeah,
heavyweight. They just don't have as heavy a punch.
yeah. And I know last year and the year before doesn't mean anything. Kirby tells his teams that every year. Last year has no effect this year, but they've won what 11, 12 years in a row. Last time
Against the
Kentucky beat,
Cats,
yeah, they
10
was '09, right?
9. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a
I mean, that
while.
has to. It has been a while. So, uh, it that's the monkey that they want to get off their back. I think Kentucky's got to the point where they're beating Tennessee and South Carolina and Missouri
Florida,
regularly, and
Florida.
Florida. They've got to find a way to beat Georgia sometime soon. They've got a quarterback right now who has the ability to have a really good season.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening again. Maybe they give them a real fight, but I don't see them beating Georgia right now.
Well, you're going to get real big fights. DAWGSTRUCTION, you can pick it up down below. Thanks to Matt for joining us. We'll see you on the website.